is the EverStart Walmart starting grid. It shows that Bobby Labonte, who has won 3 of the last 5 Atlanta races, has the pole position. Mike Skinner will start alongside. He was 9th here last fall. In the second row, Tony Stewart, his second top 5 qualifying spot in 4 races, and Dale Jarrett with 1 win and 4 seconds in his last 5 Atlanta races. Jeremy Mayfield will start on the inside of row number 3, 3rd place in last year's race, and Jeffrey Bodine, his 35th race here at Atlanta. In the 4th row, Buckshot Jones, his first NASCAR Winston Cup top 10 start, alongside Jeff Gordon, the winner of this race last fall. In row number 5, it's Joe Nemechek, his best Atlanta finish 8th, and last year's pole winner, John Andretti. Starting back in row number 6, Ted Musgrave on the inside and Jerry Nadeau on the outside. In the 7th row, Mark Martin and Wally Dallenbach. Starting in row number 8, Elliott Sadler, the 5th fastest in Happy Hour, and Chad Little alongside in row 8. The 9th row will have Kenny Irvin, a 5th place finish last spring, and Sterling Marlin. The 10th row, Rick Mast and Ward Burton. In the 11th row, we have Ernie Irvin, who won this race in 1994, and Kyle Petty.
Back in row 12, Rusty Wallace, 4th year last spring, alongside Michael Walker. In row 13, Jerry Labonte, the 1997 champ, and David Green. In the 14th row, Derek Cope crashed here yesterday afternoon in the NASCAR Busch Series alongside Bobby Hamilton. In row 15, Ricky Craven, new car, new ride in this Atlanta race alongside Rich Bickle. In row 16, Bill Elliott looking for that magic in Atlanta in 1999 alongside Steve Park, who crashed here last year. Dale Earnhardt back in the 33rd spot alongside Kenny Wallace, new team for Kenny. In the 18th row, Dave Marcus and Johnny Benson. And now we see the provisionals. Jeff Burton, the winner last week, will take a provisional alongside Ken Schrader. In row 20, Jimmy Spencer and Kevin LePage. Row 21, Ricky Rudd and Brett Bodine. And the 43rd spot goes to Darrell Walter.
4 drivers missed the field. Number 77 car of Robert Pressley, the 91 of Steve Grissom. Harris Devane actually withdrew before second round qualifying, and Morgan Shepherd in car number 90 also failed to make the field.
He came back to this track with revenge certainly on his mind. He was battling the flu, but he was also running a Busch car here yesterday afternoon, trying to get laps, trying to get more experience, and then contact with another car, and Cope hit the wall hard again in virtually the identical spot between turns 1 and 2.
The groove yesterday afternoon was 2 lanes wide. Right now, the bottom lane will be the preferred line. Let's see the jockey as these cars drive down turn 1, trying to get to the inside of the racetrack. That'll be the best race of all, trying to get to the inside.
Pace truck is off the track, and the green flag waves. The Cracker Barrel 500 underway as Bobby Labonte and Mike Skinner and the others race down into turn 1. Down the backstretch, that's Tony Stewart in car number 20, the rookie, taking the lead and inserting himself from the inside groove. Here's the field moving off of corner number 4, and it appears as if Tony Stewart is going to lead lap 1. Indeed he does.
Man, was that a gutsy move by Tony Stewart to pull it, make it 3?
Has experience on this track, the NASCAR Busch Series, and also from the Pep Boys Indy Racing League competition. He, of course, a champion in that series in 1997. And Dale Earnhardt has crashed.
Direct the caution. Wave them off. Wave off.
Down the banking to the apron of the racetrack, but this is something you don't see very often. Dale Earnhardt crashing.
And it looks like some heavy, heavy damage to the back of the Goodrich Chevrolet.
Safety crew arriving at the scene. We're on board with Bobby Hamilton. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Dale Earnhardt.
Going down in turn 3. Earnhardt he starts on the outside of that car, and this second groove just isn't there right yet. He tries to go on the outside of that car and could not quite make it. And bam, in that outside retaining wall.
John Kernan has more.
I just talked to the crew, and they said Earnhardt told them on the radio that he was okay first of all, but he said he's not sure if a tire blew or what happened. He said just all of a sudden the car broke loose and got away from him. Bob, after that last caution, Jeff started in the 8th position. They told him to take it easy the first 15 laps. They're set up for a long run, and there's a crash. Derek Cope in the wall up in turn number 4. And I'll finish my thought on Jeff Burton a little bit later on.
Well, we see Derek Cope at least is turning the steering wheel, so at least he's okay.
Oh, yeah.
But man, we're seeing too much of this from Derek Cope here in Atlanta Motor
Board
Speedway.
camera will see what happened to Derek. Derek Cope is snake bitten at Atlanta, isn't he? Bobby Labonte has gone around Jeff Gordon and taken the lead, and that happened just seconds ago.
Bobby Labonte, during the break, all during the break, tried to find a faster line around the racetrack. He ran high, he ran low, he ran in the middle of the corners. And Jeffrey Bodine, I told him, in the wall in turn 2.
5th place car, Jeffrey Bodine smashing against the car coming across the track, and obviously has no steering or brakes and crashes into the inside wall.
And we can see that's heavy damage to the right side of that car.
Caution came out on lap 234. Jeffrey Bodine into the fence.
And we see the car with just tremendous impact with the right side of the car.
That was in turn number 2, and then the car came across the racetrack, narrowly missing some others who were passing by on the low side, and the car sliding across the 24 degrees of banking here.
And all of a sudden the car will turn left. And there's 2 reasons for running the inside wall. Number 1, he has no brakes, and number 2, he doesn't feel like hitting the brakes yet. Dale Jarrett, the 88 car, Martin, the 6th car, been able to clear themselves up Bill Elliott's car. So now, see if they can make any headway towards catching these front cars. Bobby Labonte, Jeff Gordon.
And a car on the wall is Jeremy Mayfield up in turn number 4.
And the caution is out.
Mayfield down on the flat part of the racetrack, the apron, as he enters pit road, but there's a lot of damage to the right side of the mobile one. The concrete up in turn number 4. Here it is.
It's already on the wall. Can't imagine what might have happened. Not get by the Ricky Rudd car.
Dale Jarrett finished second here last fall and last spring, and has finished second or better in the last 5 races.
Boy, Jeff Gordon got by that time. He just drove in on the outside. And look how much he gained on Bobby Labonte that one corner.
Yep.
Now he's going back to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to take the lead from the inside.
Obviously that car works well just about any place on the racetrack. Boy, when he came off the corner, he shot up the track and came awfully close to Labonte, but had the good momentum, and Jeff Gordon goes back in the lead.
Wow. Jeff Gordon, we've seen him running for the last 150 miles. We've seen him running the top of the racetrack, the top groove. Now he decides to go back to the bottom, and it's working for him.
He works his way down pit road at 45 miles an hour. Jeff Gordon, Bill Weber, here he comes.
Ward Burton is on pit road. He's been telling his crew his car is very, very tight. They rip away the tear away on the windshield. They're going to give him right side tires and fuel, waiting for the lug nuts to be tight. A quick stop for them. He's away. Gordon will follow him down pit road toward Jerry Hunt.
3,700 RPMs in second gear. Jeff Gordon brings to a halt. This is what it's all about, teamwork. The Rainbow Warriors, Sunday after Sunday, able to give Jeff Gordon a shot. Gordon able to give this team what they deserve. He is down and away. The 31 on pit road. Mike Skinner getting right side tires. They clean the windshield. Remember the battery problem. And now he is down and away, almost getting the right front tire changer as he leaves.
It was an 8.2 second pit stop for Jeff Gordon as he got right side tires and fuel. We're on board with Bobby Labonte, whose pit is the very last one, Jerry.
Right side tires going on the Interstate Battery Pontiac. Jimmy May car in the crew now. Got it full of fuel. Is all they want to put in. One can. Right side tires. A great pit stop for the 18 crew.
Car coming out just ahead of Jeff Burton. On the racetrack, the leader of the race is Tony Stewart. There is Jeff Gordon. And up up ahead of him is Bobby Labonte. Jerry Punch, Tony Stewart. And look at the distance that Jeff Gordon has gained on Bobby Labonte just in the last few laps. As a matter of fact, Jeff Gordon is passing Bobby Labonte.
When it's all over and said and done with, this should be the pass for the win. John Kerr
have to maintain on pit road. Here is Sterling Marlin, who's decided to come in for his pit stop, Bill.
They warned him about his pit road speed. He needs 6 gallons of fuel. Sterling said, I'd like to have 2 tires. Team manager Tony Glover said, we will not win the race if we take tires. This is our only chance. Gas only. He's away. We'll see what happens.
Just 4 seconds to get a little bit of fuel into that car, and Sterling Marlin rolls back onto the speedway. That is Darrell Waltrip right behind him. Well, Jeff Gordon now is the leader of this race. There's Ray Evernham, the crew chief on the car. He has just about a second advantage over Bobby Labonte and almost a 5 3/4 second lead on third place Mark Martin. And look at the speed difference.
Here comes off the corner, Jeff Gordon down to start-finish line. The white flag is out.
One more lap to go for Jeff Gordon. On his way to his 44th career win and second of 1999. Bobby Labonte 2.5 seconds behind. Mark Martin is third. Jeff Burton fourth. Dale Jarrett is fifth, followed by Mike Skinner, Ernie Irvin, Ward Burton, Chad Little, and Tony Stewart. Here's the number 24 DuPont Chevrolet coming off of corner number 4. Jeff Gordon wins the Cracker Barrel 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Another victory for Jeff Gordon and the Rainbow Warriors.